Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times for Thursday, June 3, 2021. For today's editorial, destructive fishing bill must be rejected. Among the many bills proposing new legislation or amending existing laws that are filed in Congress each session, there are some that have some merit and others that, on closer study, turn out to be problematic in some way. It is rare, however, to see a bill that can truly be described as appalling and destructive, with no redeeming value whatsoever. House Bill 7853 is just such a bill. House Bill 7853 was authored by Cebu 3rd District Representative Paulo John Garcia and seeks to amend Section 18 of Republic Act 8550 or the Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998 by expanding the possible area of operations for commercial fishing vessels as defined by law within municipal waters. Under the Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998, the municipality or city government shall have jurisdiction over municipal waters and shall be responsible for the management, conservation, protection, utilization, and disposition of fisheries and aquatic resources within their respective municipal waters. To date, at least 2,503 groups, including more than 1,400 fisherfolk groups and more than 30 civil society organizations, have voiced their opposition to the measure. In addition, the provincial governments of Antique, Palawan, Southern Leyte, and Davao Oriental, and the Romblon chapter of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines have all protested the proposed amendment. The opposition to this ill-considered bill is well-founded. First, without presenting any compelling justification for doing so, it would expand the authority of local governments to manage waters within their jurisdictions in a manner that is potentially contrary to national policy on environmental and resource management. It is true that the prevailing policy direction of the Duterte administration has been to devolve more authority and responsibilities to local government units where possible, a policy direction that was further enhanced by the Supreme Court by way of its ruling in 2019 that LGUs are entitled to a larger share of the national revenues, which will be fully implemented next year. However, the constitutional principle that local governments may not act in opposition to national law certainly has not been changed, nor should it. Second, House Bill 7853 represents a huge step backwards in terms of environmental protection, a step that would also directly oppose prevailing national policy and potentially directly violate another Supreme Court ruling, in this case the writ of mandamus compelling the government to proceed with the rehabilitation of Manila Bay. Coastal waters are the most sensitive part of the marine environment, and to permit commercial fishing, many of the methods of which have been definitely proven to be environmentally harmful, would be grossly irresponsible. Third, the proposed amendment to Republic Act 8550 poses a direct threat to the livelihoods of thousands of small-scale fisherfolk and, along with that, poses a risk to the nation's food security. A significant portion of the seafood consumed by Filipinos is harvested by small fishers. If these are forced to compete directly with bigger commercial operations, their productivity will be irreparably harmed, hurting their own livelihoods as well as the consumer market. In the explanatory note of House Bill 7853, Representative Garcia stresses, this pandemic has debilitated many industries and has left many workers destitute. All efforts must be exerted toward recovering from this crippling period of our nation's history. That is certainly a noble and considerate statement, but given the heavy risks and complete absence of clear benefits presented by House Bill 7853, it is difficult to see how the measure would do anything but work against efforts toward recovering from this crippling period of our nation's history. The best response to this most unfortunate proposal would be for Representative Garcia to recognize the principle of democracy at work, acknowledge the virtually universal opposition to it by the stakeholders that would be directly affected by it, and withdraw the measure on his own. That would likely earn him popular support that continuing to press the measure will certainly not. Failing that, however, the remainder of the House must act to reject this odious proposal and conduct a more thorough assessment of the 1998 Fisheries Code before entertaining any changes to it. And that's the editorial for Thursday, June 3, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.